So I think I'll start off by asking you some questions, Rogan. So tell us, what's the background to your farm? Have you got any? Give us a bit of background. Maybe the number of cows, the size of the farm. This is the family farm. Yeah. What can you tell us?
It's a 485 cow farm. Winter just over 500. It's irrigated 124 hectares, and that's about it.
Cool. Good. And just sitting here looking at this stunning feed pad, could you tell us what kicked this all off? Why did you invest in this feed pad?
I just got sick of trampling feed into the mud in the winter, and just the wastage of it. And I think regulations in time will stop us doing that. So I just wanted to try something different and make it cheap and simple.
So the feed wastage was a big concern, or it was maybe you saw it as an opportunity?
So going? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just like when it's wet, the cows waste so much and they probably only eat half what they're supposed to. So on a wet winter, the cows, they never do any good. Where less hares, everything gets utilised.
Brilliant. So you wintered full time here just last year. Was that always the intention? And how did it work out for you?
Yeah, we wintered full time last winter. They just got grass and maize. And yeah, we had a few teething problems at the start with the pumps and stuff, but we got that all sorted, and we've changed a couple of things this year. And no, it's all went pretty well, really.
Brilliant. I think one of the big questions that came through from quite a few of you was the question around the economics of the feed pad. Do you have anything to say there about cost benefits? How long do you think it'll take to see a return on investment?
I haven't actually sat down and worked it all out, but my theory was what it costs me to make the silage will be the same as what I feed less of. So if they're only needing 11 or 12 Ks, rather than feeding 14 or 15 Ks in the paddock.
I just realised, Jacob, I'm hogging the microphone here. If you've got any questions, just grab it and you can ask away. Yeah?
Quick question around wintering. What were you doing before this?
The cows were on fodder beet or kale most of the winter. And yeah.
Cool. So another question that's come up is just around the cow comfort on the pad. Are they comfortable on here?
Ask Logan.
Logan.
Surprisingly, the cows are really comfortable. So we just started off like we do now, just bringing them on enough the autumn to get maize, and they don't actually sit down a lot. They're only on for a couple of hours at a time. But during the wintering, the first probably week, they sort of just got used to the mats, and yeah, we sort of thought, oh, this is going to take a wee while. And then after a week, they all got used to it. They'd sit down on it. They all had their favourite spots. A lot of the big bossy cows would sit right on the top of the ridge line on the mats, and yeah, it was really comfortable. And then we thought maybe we might have lameness issues, but so for the first 2 weeks they were probably just a wee bit tender footed, and then they came right. We didn't have any we didn't even have to really lift probably more than 5 feet, just some of those soft ones that didn't quite get used to it. But yeah, so the cow comfort, it was got the thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Logan. Back for you, Rogan. What are the top 3 learnings that you took from the project? If you had a top 3 of things that you learned as you went through that process of designing and building it. Yeah, what do you take away as your top three?
Probably that it takes a lot more. It doesn't look like much stuff here, but it took a fair bit. We did all the earthworks, so it took a fair bit to get all the levels right and get that all sorted. What else? Oh, I don't really know, to be honest.
If you were going to do it again, like if you had your time to do it again, what would you change or do differently?
Well, we've changed it around. We've put the pens long ways now. We had them width ways, so we changed that. But apart from that, there's not really too much I'd change.
Can you go into that? What was the issue that you were addressing there?
Well, we scrape it with a motorbike, and so we've got big long scrapes now, and it was easier to wet it before you scraped it. So we're washing it with a hose and then scraping it. So the bottom pipe has got holes drilled in it so it can wet it.
Cool. We had a question around other options. Did you look at other options, composting barns, putting on a roof, for the benefits that would offer? Yeah, and if so, why did you choose this option?
Yeah, we went down south and we looked around a heap of feed pads, and the reason, well, I don't think North Otago gets enough rain for a roof, and the composting barns, all the wood chips and that are getting dearer and harder to get, and it's a big job taking them in and out and that, whereas this is do it once and forget about it.
Great. Moving forward, do you have any plans for additions or any other changes to this pad?
No, I think it's pretty much how it should be now.
Great. Any questions, Jacob? I don't actually have any more questions from this, but we could just open it up now, and perhaps if you've got a question, just raise your hand and we'll see if we can get an answer for you.
What sort of number of cows are you actually putting on here, and what sort of area per cow are you budgeting on the matted part?
I think it's 5 metres a cow for the whole thing. So I don't know what it'd be. It'd be 3.5 or something like that. And there's 485 they're milking. But in the winter, there's a bit over 500.
Any other questions?
Wintering time, are they on and off?
No, 100% on here.
100%.
Tell us your experience from the calving period, calving down. How'd that go?
Yeah, so during the springtime, that's probably where we found the biggest benefits, probably in labour and animal health. I think savings. It was really easy to transition cows. You had a whole lot more control over the feed going in, and even just putting your minerals and your mag and all that sort of stuff on feed. You knew the stock would get it down the throat, and then also we would bring our Springer mob on and off the pad. So you were always, someone was always checking the stock, and if they were on the pad, so they'd come on. We put them on overnight, and so they'd be on overnight. And then first thing in the morning before milking, the Springer mob would go down to a paddock and just get hay and just a sniff of grass, and then they'd be on there till just probably about 1 o'clock, and then they'd come back on the pad at that time. So pre-morning milking, we'd already cut out any cows that had calved overnight, and then again in the afternoon when you bring them back on the pad, you'd cut more cows out, and then before we'd go home after milking, because it's right by the dairy shed, you just flick anything out that looked like it was going to calve that night. We just put it in a paddock close to the shed. So yeah, we just noticed we probably had, with the transition, having a better control of the feed, we didn't have the same amount of metabolic problems, and then and then probably just getting them off sooner and onto good tucker after calving quicker. So I think even the staff would say that it made sort of cutting cows that have calved out really simple. And even, because it was all so handy to the shed, you could, even during milking, you'd sort of keep an eye on a cow that it maybe looked like it was calving before milking. You could bring her in, carve her, and you didn't have to worry about it at night. So it was good.
Brilliant. Another question? No?
One more question for you, Logan. What's the time to clean it down? Obviously, there's pros and cons of investment, from flood wash to scrape to hose. Gives you 3 cents on that.
Yep. So we're probably under 2 hours. Under 2 hours to clean it. Since we've turned the pens around, so that's one guy would be 2 hours. I think we had a few teething issues the first winter, but it was longer than that. But that's probably what we're doing at the moment. And we'd just clean it, just first thing in the morning. So someone would come, push any remaining feed. They'd just push it up back to the concrete nib wall, and then go feed out the feed for the day. And then the cows would come off the pad and up onto the feeding area, and then that gave you access to the matting to scrape it down and hose it. And the cows, they just got used to you doing your thing. And I guess, I think, like last winter, it took longer to clean, but I think it's just a change. You've got to sort of change your mindset too, that you feel like, it's taken me ages to clean it, but you just, same labour time, probably the shifting brakes and running a tractor with baleage and all that sort of carry on, but you're just sort of in one spot instead of, running around the runoff.
What about effluent from the high area to the low area? How much is actually going in here compared to low?
It's hard to say really. I mean, the mats do get fairly dirty, but probably the bulk of it is on the where they're feeding. They sort of just stand there and, well, you know what cows like, when they start eating, they start shitting. So
One other question around, what do you think your production improvement's been season on season?
It's first season really using it, but we're 8% up for the season. And it's probably not all about the pad, but Robbie would tell you it's good management, wouldn't you, Robbie? But I think the big thing for us was, because we carve, like a lot of guys do in North Otago, like your heifers are dropping the 15th of July. It puts quite a big strain on your first round, and that's the other thing with the pad. It took pressure off that first round for us, so it meant we could just be fully feeding cows if we thought that we needed to pull back on square meters to sort of get out the balance state. Then we could easily do that, but still fully feed the cows. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Great, thank you. Do we have any more questions from the audience here?
What have you got down the bottom there as far as handling your effluent? I know we probably walk down there and see it shortly, but you've got a separator obviously, but what else is going on?
There's a sand trap at the end of here where they scrape it into, and then it goes through to a saucer and then pumped in through the separator.
Very successful. No problem.
No, we had the wrong pump in to the start with, and it couldn't cope with it, and we changed pumps, and it's been good since.
So you're not using a lot of water to clean out, it's mainly just scrape?
Use a bit of water, yeah.
Is it green wash or is it straight water?
We can use green wash, but we're finding the nozzles are blocking up and that, so it's easy just use fresh water.
And then what does that clip into? What sort of storage have you got for you for like that? Pretty
I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it was about 60 days before we built the feed pad, but we got all the calculations done and we didn't have to add onto it.
What was with the loafing pad being stepped up, what was the thinking around that, having the feed pad up?
Well, so when the cows would shit when they eating, so then it's down lower to scrape it out. Sorry? We just needed more feed area when we were milking so all the cows could get around it, and we only had so much room because we've got a pivot each side of the farm.
Do you have any issues around building consents between local authorities?
You needed no consents.
More questions?
During the dry period, was there any decrease or increase in mastitis or anything like that?
Yeah, that was probably my biggest concern using the pad. So when we dried the cows off, everything got teat seal, whether it got a dry cow therapy as well. So everything got teat sealed, and then we still would run them on and off sort of for the first probably about a week after we dried them off before we left them on here 24/7. And then like a few people said to me, oh, you're going to have major issues with mastitis. And to be fair, I probably was a wee bit concerned. And like the cows sort of like they'd get dags on underneath their stomachs and that, and I sort of thought, oh yeah, this could be a bit of a disaster. But to be fair, it was probably one of the easier calvings we've had, springs with for mastitis. It was a non-event really. So which was really pleasing. Yep.
Cool. Hey, we wanted to really keep the focus on what Rogan and Michelle have done here with the feed pad, but there were a couple of questions for Numat, and I was just going to throw those over to you, Jacob. The first one is just around the rubber mats. Are they recycled, and i.e., are they a sustainable product?
Yeah, good question. So, just to give you an idea, these mats are about 98% recycled car and truck tyres. To give you an idea, this pad equates to about 7,500 tyres that have been recycled into this. And so, these are obviously all a German design. And this particular product here is designed for a loafing style rather than just a yard or shed. So it's the extra thickness and comfort. So it's designed for more the wintering.
And one more question there was around, we're known for, Numat is known for rubber matting, but now Numat seems to be building big things like feed pads. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, good question. Probably started a few conversations with Rogan, I think, early days. So where it all kicked off was obviously we've worked with a lot of different builders and construction companies with the component of rubber, and saw there's a bit of a need that there's not just one size fits all for obviously everyone's situation and farm is different. So we're kind of taking an approach that a custom approach, depending on how much you want to do yourself or let a company do it. And I suppose that's where we offer a bit of point of differences from a design perspective. I think we kicked off here with a drone scan and worked out exactly how big we could build it, how wide, how much feed face, how much square meters per cow we need, and then just worked it back from there. And so we're offering a flexible model depending on the needs or contacts that each farm might have, if that makes sense.
And I'm aware that the ideas that came for the ideas for this feed pad and the design here really came from your side, didn't it, Rogan? I mean, Numat came on as a bit of a partner. Do you have any comments on just how that whole process worked for you? And yeah, what was it like on your side?
Oh no, it's real easy. Numat were great to work with, and yeah, no, it went smooth.
Sweet. That's the testimonial done. Okay, well, are there any more questions here for these guys? Yep.
How long do you think the mats will last before you have to replace them?
Yeah, so these have a 10-year warranty, and we've had this particular you might say compound in Waikato for 13 years, Milan. So yeah, 13 years is what we've had it to date in a non-roof environment. So you should get at least 20 plus years out of it.
Yep. Just over here.
So these are made out of a recycled product, but made in Germany. There's obviously a huge cost to get them from Germany back to here. Have Numat looked further down the line to see if you guys could set up a company or something in New Zealand so that we haven't got the, there's a huge, if we're looking at environmental stuff, there's huge carbon cost to get from Germany to back to here.
Great question. Jacob?
Yeah, certainly a vision. We've taken a couple of steps in the last 3 years. So we used to buy a lot of this product in as finished goods. Now we actually buy it in as what we call raw sheets. So they come in as a bigger sheet, and we water jet cut them in Oamaru, and then all the waste we actually granulate now in Oamaru, and that waste can go back into playgrounds, but we can also granulate old product as well.
You might have to explain that. They go into playgrounds.
So yeah, the other side of the business is playground surfacing. So a lot of this recycled product can be chipped up to small chips, and then that can go as an undersurface for. But yeah, we're still working on the initial phase.
Any further questions? We didn't really understand the question, so if anyone wants to ask it, maybe we can get clarification around that.
That was my question.
Yes.
So obviously there's a lot more effluent now within the farm. How has that affected your nutrient loading over the whole property now? Because you've got another 2 to 3 months of effluent, which you would have taken that and put it on another property.
I'm unsure.
You've added another. We've got so previously there was only 60 hectares under effluent irrigation, was there? So there's probably close to maybe to 115 hectares, I suppose, that can have the effluent spread on it now. Yeah. So that helps a wee bit.
Is it double the effluent now?
Yeah.
Prior.
To prior, yeah. Yep. Yep.
Further questions? Great. Well, that really concludes the Q&A portion of the day. Can we just give these guys a big hand of applause? And yeah, thanks, Rogan. Really appreciate you taking the time, and you've been very generous with it. So